perhaps later in the day when you listen to this. Hello. Good morning. Well, good morning, dear Dharma friends. It's dark out. It's wet. I'm way ahead of you in my meditation this morning. It is a competition after all. I was awake at 3 for reasons I don't know. I went to bed early, but still. And I've basically been sitting on the couch and walking and being since then. So it's like mid-afternoon. Anyway, perhaps I'm manic. You just never know. Certainly feel very energized. Well, it's Monday, what is it? Monday, the orienting to date, October the 12th. I'm Robert Beatty. I'm coming to you maniacally from Portland, Oregon. This is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And I think I will record this morning. I'm going to create a collection of guided meditations to put on my website, which would be nice. You could tune in then anytime. Record. So, how lovely to see you, such familiar faces in familiar places. I have a, to me, very familiar old poem here. Is this really the poem for today? I think it is. Mary Oliver again. I read this poem not so many, I guess 6 months ago now, when my, hang on, brain hole here. When my friend Ron Nato was passing away. He loved this poem. When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps his purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through that door full of curiosity, wondering what it's going to be like, that cottage of darkness. And therefore I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular. And each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does toward silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Isn't that last line a kicker? I love it. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I've made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Is my life tourism, or is this really an educational institution for growing us up? Well, the refuge is, the outer world continues to be mad. So where could we possibly take refuge? I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya. I've grown rather fond of that little song. Certainly has deep meaning. So, there is something really strange happening. We take it for granted, but there is consciousness. Please notice that your body, there's a body sitting here. How do you do that? How do you conjure up that awareness? Or do you conjure it up? Maybe it's just aware. But there's a way that we can focus it by intention. Please dive into your hands. Or maybe notice that the life in the hands exists inside awareness. Awareness and hands sensations arise together. If you're leaning against something, notice the contact of your back with whatever that is. Notice the pressure of the buttocks. And notice how it is to simply open awareness and recognize the entirety of your body in one glance. Including the scalp, the top of the head, the crown, and the face, and the torso, and the arms and hands and legs and feet. The whole thing. It doesn't take scrunching of the forehead to do this. It's quite the opposite. It's just awake to this. And this body, this cloud of aliveness, breathes. Become so gently and lovingly attentive that you can notice the beginning of the breath. This breath now. The mind is a fantasy creating phenomenon. This mind just went on a whole remembering journey about hollyhock, about walking through the garden. Got quite a role going for a while, and then awareness noticed, oh, wandering mind, fantasy. The body still sits here. Here it is, alive, sensations, breathing in, breathing out. So we don't engage with battle with the wandering mind. We just love it for what it is. And recognize how important it is to not take it seriously all the time. To be much more lighthearted about it. Sometimes sounds will arise. The sound of this voice, in my case, the sound of rain on the roof. Again, no distraction, just notice sound, hearing. If the mind is very quiet, just let it settle down more and more. Ever so kindly and gently climb into the sensations of breathing and rest. If the mind is somehow agitated, busy, entranced, you can use the concepts of the 5 hindrances to help make clear what's happening. Is this a mind colored by or filtered through desire and wanting? A dissatisfied mind that wants something different or wants something pleasant? Or is it a mind that dislikes what's happening, that is judgmental, that is colored by hatred, aversion, wants to get rid of something? Or perhaps a mind that's really restless, agitated, jumping from one object to another. Or a sleepy, dull mind that's kind of passing out or wants to be unconscious. And you can watch as you wake up time and again from this sloth and torpor. Or perhaps it's a mind of doubt. Why am I doing this? Does this work? Maybe I should be chanting instead, or maybe there's some strong emotions running. Sadness, fear, happiness. Maybe there's anxiety, so common for us humans. Calling it what it is and recognizing that in order to recognize it, to observe it, we are something much more than any of these contents of mind. And this is the refuge in the Buddha. It is awakeness. It is knowing. And when we can, we abide in the coming and going of the breath. One characteristic of mindfulness is that it remembers to remember. To remember, the intention is to be awake. To know what is happening. To know what occurs at the 6 sense doors. To know what happens in thoughts and emotions, body sensations. To remember to abide in now, where everything happens. In the beginning, middle, and ending of this breath right now. Okay, you can go out. There is a very elegant teaching attributed to Ajahn Chah, a great Thai forest master of the last century. He said that whenever you wish to bring your practice into perfect balance, remember this. This moment is like this. If the mind is restless, it's restless. If the mind is tranquil and spacious and open and loving, transcendent, it's like this. It's another way of articulating radical acceptance, utter acceptance. So there is breathing in and breathing out. The beginning of the breath is long gone by the time fullness occurs. Fullness is long gone by the time the end of the breath occurs. Let us be curious. Let's not just visit this world, but let's engage fully. in the insight meditation, in Vipassana meditation, Sati Patana Vipassana, no content is of any importance. It's all phenomena arising and passing away. In a way, we dissolve our separate identity into that which is beyond, into the all. There's nothing to hold on to. It's kind of like the ultimate relaxation. A curiosity of the truth of impermanence. There's another tuning, which is the tuning of this lifetime and this incarnation, this personality. And it's here that we practice the blessing of metta, of loving kindness, and karuna, compassion. So let's add in on the in-breath some beautiful, loving thoughts. And then include on the out-breath this for individuals, if you wish, or for groups, or to all beings. It's just running these thoughts through consciousness, through the heart. On the in-breath, I long to be happy. May I be really happy. May all beings who long to be happy be truly happy. May I be free from fear and danger, both inner and outer. May my family members be free from fear and danger. May I live with ease and grace. May my grandchildren live with ease and grace. May my life become one great sigh of gratitude. May your life become one great sigh of gratitude. And letting these thoughts be, these words just be suggestions. And it can also be, we can practice this with an imagination of golden or white light filling us from the heart, from the golden Buddha in your heart. Or just the intention is plenty. May I recognize that freedom and awakening are right here now. May all beings remember that freedom and awakening are right here, right now. Really savoring the in-breath, the expansion of the chest and abdomen. May I remember my true great nature. May all beings remember their true great nature. And are there words that you have longed to hear your whole lifetime? If so, grant them to yourself. I'm so glad you were born. I'm so glad you finally came to us. I'll always be here for you. You're fine, perfect, just like you are. Let yourself be fed by your own beautiful, loving intentions. And if there's resistance, love that too. Why not? It's your life. Your one wild and precious life. And please now, dear friends, notice the body that sits here. How fully dare you notice this body? How fully dare you incarnate? The pleasures of being in a body are extraordinary, exquisite. The pain of being in a body is also extraordinary. Hard to believe how much pain there can be. But to fully live, we have to take the entirety. The pleasure and pain, the gain and loss, the fame and disrepute, and the health and sickness. It's all part of the package. This moment is like this. And so now, noticing the body where it touches the chair, the cushion, letting awareness open in the hands and the fingers, in the face and the eyes, and now eyes. Noticing the intention to allow to open the eyes. Don't open them till you see until you know the intention. And then opening the eyes, seeing. And we can see with the eyes a blessing, which is see someone you know, someone you don't know. One thing you know is this person really, really wants and needs to be loved. Let it in. Maybe, most probably, someone is looking at you right now and wishing you really well. May your life become one great sigh of gratitude. May you be healthy, and when there's pain, may you ride it with skill and ease. May you bear it well. I have a brief teaching I want to share this morning. For some of you, this diagram will be very familiar because I was using it the other day several times. But if it's not, it's my model of the awakening process. The piece of it that I want to point out is these phenomena, these discrete experiences of the five hindrances. We can be lost in desire or aversion and ill will, or restless agitation and worry, sloth and torpor, and skeptical doubt. And this diagram is on my website. It's in the blog. You can see it there. And then as to develop the mind, we're planting and we're uprooting these, and we're planting these, the 7 enlightenment factors. And I'd like to get rid of this thing. Oh, there it went. Good. Oh, goodness. I don't want that. Mindfulness, the foundational, that which is aware, that what lights everything up. Mindfulness supported with curiosity and persistence. And we develop concentration, which is the capacity to focus on one object and stay there. We develop equanimity, which arises when we tolerate discomfort and joy and everything in between. And tranquility, which occurs when we're no longer fighting anything and the mind just quiets down. And there's a natural rapture, delight in the body, delight in the mind, which comes because the mind is at rest. These are all cultivable mental states, beginning with concentration and mindfulness, which mindfulness of breathing really emphasizes. So these are worth knowing, worth memorizing, I think. So that's the little Dharma moment, little Dharma reflection. Among announcements, Jim is teaching this Saturday, a day of Qigong and poetry and practice, meditation practice. And the next weekend, Mary Stankiewicz will be here on Zoom, supported by and supporting PIMC. And Kate Staples teaches Friday night. There's so much happening at PIMC. I encourage you to go to look at the online offerings and dig in. So, what's happening with you? Have you questions, comments, complaints?
Morning, Robert. It's Michael.
Michael, hello.
I'll wave to you.
It helps me find you.
Right here.
I see ya.
I am. Oh God, I'm on speaker view on my own
Ah!
computer. I wanted to just thank you for the poem you read this morning and tell a quick story, I hope. You had mentioned walking around the gardens of Hollyhock, and a year ago right now you were at Hollyhock, and we were supposed to be. But the Saturday, the morning as we were getting ready to leave, we got word that our next door neighbor and dear friend was coming home from the hospital to die.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
We stayed around. The next morning we went to PIMC and Jim was filling in and he read that poem along with another one that struck me. And I had the opportunity to share that last little bit of the poem with our neighbor as she was dying and talk to her about if ever a person was not a visitor in this world, it was her. And so to come around full a year later and hear that again serendipitously is really special to me. And so I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. How lovely that you stayed with her. Yeah.
It was first time that I'd sat with somebody through the process of her death, and she lasted about 10 days from when she came home, and it was a real privilege.
Changed you forever.
Yeah, completely. I had a understanding of impermanence and not self that I don't know how I ever could have gotten a better lesson of.
I do find it stunning to be with a living, breathing person, and then there's a corpse, and it's kind of yellowy and waxy, and it's so strange. I mean, it's that and the first breath, the baby's first breath, are these astounding miracles. How the hell does it happen? I mean, where do we come from and where do we go? It's just poof. So what good fortune for you to have had that experience. Thanks for being such regular visitors in the morning or participants in the morning. It's lovely to be here with you each day.
I'll echo what I know you've heard many times, that this ritual of every morning here is, I don't think it's exaggerating to say it's truly a lifesaver. Yeah. So, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Carol.
Hello, Carol. Would you wave? Oh, there you are. Okay. Yay. Thanks.
Hey. Yes, so this is the end of the Thanksgiving weekend in Canada.
Aha.
And once again, I'm so thankful to be able to sit with everyone in the morning with all our varied experiences. It's so amazing. Robert, you coming to us from your tent for all those months. And I remember there was one morning, someone was in their car, and another morning, someone was sitting without power, and another morning, someone in the hospital. And so all these incredible experiences that everyone is having that's making us together. And I was walking up my route during the Holocaust retreat and looking up at the trees, and I just had this awareness of what a blessing for me this time of COVID has been, even though it's been for many people, of course, very challenging, but that it has enabled me to deepen my practice and have so many opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So it really is another blessing in my life, another form of gratitude and thanksgiving that I have this morning. And I remember one time I heard the description of the word God being God does so deep. And that has been the blessing that I've had, because sitting every morning is an opportunity to get deep into it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you to all.
Is tonight when Thanksgiving dinner happens in Canada, or was it last night? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, my dear.
Yeah, it just depends. For many people, it was last night. But for some of us tonight, I was working yesterday, and so we're having a very small gathering this evening. Danielle will be joining us, so that will be lovely.
Great.
Yeah, Kai and Trinity, and yeah.
Thank you.
A modest dinner, but we'll.
Hi, Robert. It's Steffi.
I can't see you. Wave, would you?
I'm not on. Have a picture up.
Okay, great. Oh, I see your picture in the bottom there. Good, fine.
Yeah, it's a good picture. It looks better than how I look now. So.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if you could give us some words of wisdom or peace that will help us feel better about the Supreme Court grab.
It's frightening. I guess all I can do is share my personal reflection on it, which is that it would appear as though the Supreme Court is going to be out of step with about 65% of the people in the nation. So a majority of people will be not supportive of many of the court's decisions, and the checks and balances will probably come into play. But it's frightening. It's frightening, and it's so blatantly for them to have said, this is the way we'll do it from now on. We'll never appoint a judge in the last year, and then to just blow that off. The lack of integrity is awful. But here we are. It's like this. This moment is like this. I don't know if that's any help, but it's I've decided I'm not going to watch any of the confirmation hearings because I think I can't tolerate it. It would be I have enough energy in my system right now without bringing that in. I guess one other thing that gives me a little hope is that sometimes it seems that taking on those positions of extraordinary importance and power sometimes changes people. It's an archetypal position, and it sometimes has a big effect on people. John Roberts, for instance. I have another thought. One could do, and I think I will try this, one could do Tonglen practice, the taking and sending practice, with all the other people in the world, with all the countries in the world, where the movement toward the right is happening and has happened in the past. And that this is something that happens in countries. And that there's always suffering around the government, because governing ourselves is a very difficult thing to do. So it's in a way it's recognizing the human condition, and then relinquishing it. It's like, oh, it's like this. In a place of great calm, recently, a few days ago, I started poking around at what's the experience in here around this election for me. And I recognize that there's a fear. And the fear is quite tangible. And there's part of it that's right here in my throat, chest and throat. And that there's a a sort of unwillingness to really feel it fully. But it's possible to move toward it and feel it fully and more fully. And it's the same place that my profound concern about climate change lives. It's like, and here's the sadness, what's going to happen? And it's so monumental. It's the kind of like the ground that we walk on. And but I think it helps me to, in times of strength, when the 7 enlightenment factors are pretty balanced, to turn toward that fear and to allow myself to know that's really there. And then it's not so hidden, or it's not a known commodity, but it's not something I have to be frightened about opening that doorway internally. And it's the same kind of reflection as when I do the 5 daily recollections and really do them and get into it. It's like, I am of the nature to age. I've not gone beyond aging. It's really true. I am of the nature to sicken. I've not gone beyond sickness. I've done something very similar with this one. What if I contract COVID? And not just thinking about it, but really softening into it. And what emerged with doing that was, well, if I contract COVID, I'll be sick. And maybe I'll be really sick, and maybe I'll die. And deep down inside, that's okay. I'm going to anyway. So the practice really allows us, I think, the tranquility to bear these things openly, fully with ourselves, and then we can be less frightened, I think. It's big though, isn't it? This is not being tourists on the earth. This is really, or in life, this is really engaging with the nitty-gritty of it. I was actually playing with my grandchildren yesterday. Little Landon, who's a 1.5 years, came, and he was sitting on my lap and jumping up and down and just being a wild creature. So beautiful. And I felt myself, another level of opening happens, like, oh. And I found also myself, I was quietly sobbing. Actually, I didn't let anybody else know, but that daring to open into this relationship and actually care is scary. To actually incarnate, to actually engage in life, is inherently so unstable. And it seems to me in this time it's more inherently unstable than usual.
Good morning, Robert. It's Kat.
Hello, Kat.
Hello, Robert. Hello, Sangha.
I wanted to share something that just happened, which is really cute. And I thought I had turned off my video while making breakfast and listening to everyone talk, but obviously I didn't. So I'm sorry for all the back and forth. That was distracting for anyone. When you were just talking about if you can track COVID, my 5-year-old Ethan is here and overheard you say, and I might die. And he's like, Robert might die? And I said, yes, everybody dies. And I said, okay. And then he said, but if Robert dies, who would be your substitute teacher?
That's cool.
That was really sweet. And it
Yeah.
also, I grew up so terrified of death. Like it was something that was never talked about in my home.
Mm-hmm.
When my grandparents died, I was like kept far away. Even into my like early adulthood, I was working on a show. I was directing a show, and my grandmother died. And my mother didn't want to tell me until after the show was done, so I wouldn't have to like deal with the discomfort. And I was like 19 or 20. And it's just such a huge gift for my kids to have these kind of conversations that just normalize life. Like it's normal. It's not just normalizing death, it's also normalizing death as part of life. And so some mornings I'm very like, why do I bother meditating when I have my children here? Like I'm not actually doing anything. I don't feel like I'm actually connecting to anything. I'm just sort of sitting. And then moments like this happen. It's like, oh, that's why I do it in front of them. So good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Directing a show is another hat that you've worn. Who knew you were a director?
Oh, I've done lots of careers in my 33 years. So.
Thanks for sharing. Oh, hi. Oh my goodness. Well, friends, it's a little after 8. Anybody sitting with anything you'd like to share, please do so.
I think I have something, Robert.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, everybody. In terms of the how to deal with the feeling of helplessness, watching the Supreme Court upcoming tragedy, whatever you want to call it, the feeling of helplessness is a hard thing. And I think a way to do that is to accept it, like you say, to accept that this is the reality, to not be in denial, but to push. I just think of Curtis Mayfield, great Curtis Mayfield song, Keep On Pushing. And I think if a person can find a small, humble way to push a little bit in the right direction, then that brings a peace.
Mm.
To me, it brings a peace of mind.
Mm.
Not some grandiose thing. And recognizing that this is never going to end. We're always going to have to try to exert our will on the situation and make it better. But some little way that you can push what you believe to be the right direction, I think can bring a lot of peace. That's worth.
So you're going out with your Black Lives Matter sign is a way that you are taking action and pushing.
Yeah, it's little. It's a humble little thing. I ain't changing much. I'm just doing my little.
And I would go ahead.
It has a little
Yeah.
effect, and it's my way of exerting my will.
Mhm.
I wish, I want things to be better, more compassionate. And so it's a little way of doing that.
And
A little thing I can do.
I have my refrain, which is that what we do here in the morning is the single most important thing we can do for all of our longings, and because the task is to be love, and then the love comes through in everything we do.
Very much so. Very much so. I totally agree with that.
Well, friends, 10 after 8. Anybody have anything else right on the tip of the tongue, please? The edge of the heart, the tip of the tongue. All right. Well, please, if you wish, to the degree you wish, unmute yourself and we'll go out on a song.
Everything?
Nope. Ready? You ready, cat and kids?
Sorry. Yes.
May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Kat.
I'll learn how Zoom works someday.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Well,
Goodbye, everyone. Have a lovely, mindful day.
thank you.
Goodbye, dear friends on Facebook and